It is time for Prime Time with Jerry McKee. We've got a great special guest with you tonight. And that special guest is Steve Holt. And he's a kind of a magical guy, literally magical. And he can kind of do a little bit of voice changing. And he's a man of many talents. He's an artist. And he's been all around the world and many, many places. He's, you're going to meet him just right now. His name's Steve Holt, and you probably see him somewhere or another out and just doing all kind of wonderful magic. So we're going to let me introduce you to Steve Holt. Steve, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. And Steve, you are a magician and ventriloquist.
Yep.
And what really, now, I've known people to be a magician, and I know people that's been the ventriloquist and not know magic, but you have a combination of both, and plus you have a combination that actually being an artist that can draw and paint, and your friends that you just magically created them, and they're going to get to meet one of your friends tonight, and so. Steve, tell me a little bit about how did you get into being a magician? That's a wonderful story.
Well, the ventriloquist thing started first. I was 8 years old, grew up in an orphanage in Rome, Georgia, and saw it on television, said, that's what I want to do. So at 8 years old, somebody brought me a box for my birthday, and inside the box was a puppet. And then I started from that, and then from 8, I studied through a mail order course, and graduated when I was 12, and then at 13 I took up magic. Met a friend at the Boys and Girls Club, and we started putting shows together.
Now, ventriloquist, that's always just been to me fascinating, because I've even tried it when, especially when I was growing up and things like that. I just could not get it done right. And how long did it really take you to, when you was growing up, to really get the hang of it?
I studied hard for, my goodness, a year or two. But I mean, I started carrying a puppet to show and tell at school when I was 8, 9 years old. And by the time I was 12, I was getting paid to do shows.
Well, now what was the very first puppet that you had?
It was a little plastic puppet named, it was a Danny O'Day actually, but I called him Jerry. I added some hair. It's Jimmy Nelson and Danny O'Day. Danny O'Day was, I don't know, they did the Nestle Quick commercial, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
You remember that?
I sure do. And Jerry and adding hair.
Yeah.
I might have to hire you.
It was a wig.
Oh, okay. Well, and your first time you did it in school like that, what did the children, what did they do?
That's actually his picture right here on this book.
Oh, right.
This is an
I remember that a puppet like that.
Yeah, that's an autobiography. It's got the puppet in it. But I just wanted the Danny O'Day to look different, you know, than Jimmy Nelson's puppet. So that's why we added the hair, and just learned to squeeze the voice out, learn to not move the lips, saying the ABCs, and some pretty weird sounds came from my bedroom. Yeah,
well, you know, nowadays people say, well, I hear voices, or hey, he's talking to himself again, into the third person too.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to me, having a dialogue with yourself. And I've DJ'd in a radio station, and sometimes you're in that box like that, and you're talking, you're thinking, oh my goodness, I'm talking to myself. Mm-hmm. Did you ever get that way? Is it hard to kind of separate yourself from back and forth?
I guess it kind of came natural to me, because growing up in an orphanage, I wanted some friends, so I would create these imaginary friends, and then the puppets became the imaginary friends.
Oh, wow.
You know, being an artist, I was very quiet, very shy, and would stay to myself, you know, and paint and draw. But when it came time to entertain, be on stage or in front of people, I was a totally different person, not as shy.
So it really brought, really who you are, brought you out.
Yeah, it did. It helped develop me as a person. It really did.
Now, you're a good Christian man.
Yep.
We've talked about that. And tell people a little bit about your story and also where they can find your story on and read this, because when I was reading it like that, it filled in some gaps where I forgot to read one part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about a little bit about you growing up, if you don't mind.
When I tell the story, folks get a little confused about it. You know, what came first, what came second, a series of events that happened. And what got me into being placed in an orphanage to start with is our birth mother. There were 6 kids, 3 girls and 3 boys.
Uh-huh.
And I'm the oldest boy. And so our mother had autism.
Oh,
So
okay.
she was 18, our dad was 30 something, and they were married. So he basically married a child,
Right.
and she didn't speak much, but they had 6 children, and the 3 girls had disabilities, bipolar disorder, those kind of things, autism, mild mental retardation, those kind of things. And then we had a brother that couldn't speak; he was autistic. And then another brother who had the hemophilia, the blood disorder, and that's what killed him or ended his life. And then our mother died in 73, and that summer of 73, of course, my birth mother and father would come to the orphanage to visit us on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there from 6 to 13 years old. Well, at 13 years old, she was murdered.
Oh, my goodness.
And so foster parents came to visit us from the church, and it was our youth pastors. And my sister Joanne and I were at the orphanage, and they said, "Hey, you want to come see us for the weekend?" Sure. We went and had pizza and had movies and watched, and they said, "Well, do you like it here?" We said, "Sure." They were just youth workers, not really youth pastors.
Right.
But anyway, we ended up staying with them that summer and loved it. And then we became their foster children. And then from there, I excelled. The ventriloquism got better. Foster dad built me a room where I could do a workshop, work on puppets, study,
Wow.
read joke books, put dialogues together. He was from Las Vegas and always told me, if you're going to be in show business, keep it clean. So I kept it clean. And then, of course, I did a lot of church work, a lot of ministry, and I would share my story about, how the Lord delivered me from being so shy and scared. So I was able to speak through the puppets and just became.
Well, and that gives hope to other children and stuff that has a home life that's maybe it's not as good as others. And you really excel, and God kind of took care of you.
He did,
and
still does.
Put you with the family and all, and that's a great testimony too, because it's especially for children. Right. They kind of sometimes they think they have it rough, but they just don't know. And they need to talk to someone that did. And sometimes I think God lets us experience things to where we be able to express ourselves and help someone that maybe is going through the same thing.
And I always say, the Lord gave me talents, and they saved my life. Literally saved my life.
Yeah. Well, you got some great talents like that. Now, people can go to your Facebook page.
Right. It's Steve Holt Magic.
Okay.
That's my Facebook address. And then my website is steveholtmagicshow.com.
And they can go to your Facebook page and click on the link to go there too, right?
Yes. And there's another website we just built, and it's actually the ministry site. steveholtmagicshow.com tells some of my story.
Right.
There's a ministry and corporate page on steveholtmagicshow.com that has my story and my testimony and video. But there's also another website, stevesstory.com.
Yes, I went there.
You did, okay.
And read there, and I thought it was interesting. You're being adopted at 59 years old.
Legally adopted.
Legally
at 59.
adopted, right.
I was in the foster home from my sister Joanne and I were there from teenage years up until 19 or 20 years old. And then, of course, I went on the road with my magic show.
Mm-hmm.
And foster parents loved that. They would show up in Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, in the audience clapping for me.
Oh, wow.
And I never knew until they stood up. I could see their smile. That's amazing.
Now, you were, I read in there where you was it England?
Yeah, I went to London, England for a high school graduation gift. So my foster parents, which I call mom and dad now, my dad's gone, but mom's still living. She's in Los Alamos, New Mexico. They said, you want to go to Hollywood or do you want to go somewhere else? Well, there were 14 children going to London, England.
Uh-huh.
And I said, wow, all the art museums, I could go see those. Well, I actually went to London. We were there for a week. I got to do a show with a rock and roll guitar player.
Oh, wow.
Met him on an elevator. He said, all right, you want to be in my show? All right, we'll do the magic and the puppets, and we'll do all the rock and roll, and you can entertain the folks for us, please.
Wow.
That's what we did.
You just met him on the elevator?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, my goodness. Did you show him some magic on the elevator?
I did. I did this one.
Well, I tell you, you
Kind of stuff.
you blew my wife and her son and his friend there them away the other night, and he said, "How did he do that? He don't have no sleeves or nothing."
Right.
And see, you traveled there, and you traveled with. You had your own show that was called. I can't think of the name.
It's called the Miracles of Magic Show, and it toured in the 80s and the 90s. And prior to that, I toured with a circus and a medicine show. So I learned the business from that.
Oh, okay.
I was a promoter and an entertainer, and I had helped sell tickets and promote the shows and learned the business part, and then hired some people for my own show. And we were on the road for 15 years.
Wow, that's a good long time.
Four shows a week, 4 days a week on stage.
Wow. Now, when you talk about the show with the medicine show, what is the medicine part? Is it?
It's sort of like an old hee-haw variety show.
Okay.
Tommy Scott's Last Real Medicine Show from Toccoa, Georgia. And we sold snake oil, but basically it was just a bottle of camphor and liniment,
Right.
rubbing alcohol for your sore muscles. And we'd pitch it to the audience before the shows, and we'd get 10 cents a bottle for every one we sold, which wasn't a lot. But anyway, I actually used it on my muscles because we had to lift equipment. Back then I was in my 20s, and we'd get sore from lifting.
Well, there's a lot of equipment that you had to lift.
Sound equipment, and PA systems, and magic illusions, and
And of course some of your props. Now, do you build your own props too?
I do. I built 4 Houdini trunk escapes that I would escape from. I've built floating girls, the blade boxes you put the girls in,
Wow.
and saw them in half and all that.
Well, I've seen the guillotine.
Yes. I refurbished a guillotine recently, and it works. But
Yeah, it was no head that rolled on from the audience this time.
no, the guy didn't lose his head.
I think he was a little nervous.
He was. He was an older guy, 30-something. He worked at some plant there in Union, South Carolina.
Yeah. And but to me, you had growing up and traveling, you got to see many states, many countries, and performing in front of all kind of people.
Varieties of people, anywhere from 500 people a night to 1,200 to 2,000 people.
Wow. Well, who is one of your person that does magic? I know you got Penn and Teller, and who was one that you looked up more for?
My mentor that I looked up to, and I've never met him, but was Doug Henning. But Harry Blackstone Jr. now was a personal friend of mine. He did the Jiffy popcorn commercials.
Right.
The Oreo cookie commercials, and he and I actually favored. So Harry Blackstone Jr. saw him at the Fox Theater in Atlanta. He invited me backstage and had dinner with him, and we hit it off. I'm more like him with the deep voice on stage, and Harry Blackstone, yeah. His father was a big magician back in the Houdini days, Harry Blackstone Sr.
My goodness. So. Now, you said you built some boxes that you escaped from?
Yep.
And that's, to me, always fascinate me because, to me, with magic, I don't try to see how they do it, and I really don't want to know. Because to me, that is part of the magic.
It is the
and
mystery of it.
The mystery of it, which makes it exciting.
Yeah. And, you know, most magicians like to do the Houdini type stuff.
Right.
But, you know, eventually toward the end of your career, it kind of plays out because it gets difficult. You know,
I can imagine.
being tied up and restrained and putting yourself in straitjackets, then in a box and escaping. Well, the trick is Houdini's metamorphosis, where the girl, I step into a bag, she ties the bag up, they handcuff me, put me in the bag, tie the bag up, push me down in it, lock the lid, hinge it, padlock it, sometimes put a rope chain around it. She steps up on top with a curtain and a square hoop and says 1, 2, and I'll pop up and say 3, it's me, and drop the hoop, and she's inside the box. Unlock it. She's in the bag with the handcuffs on, untie it, and she comes out.
My goodness.
So supposedly it's a 3 to 4 second switch.
That is fast.
The metamorphosis.
My goodness. That is super fast.
It's a challenge to every magician living today still. And I've made those trunks and sold them.
Yeah, like I say, you're a man of many talents in this right here. It's not just, just going out and pick up. And now you have things that you sell on your website.
Yes. The book is
merchandise.
the autobiography, the book on secrets of ventriloquism. Then for children, being an artist, I have my own coloring book.
Oh.
And so we've illustrated. And the coloring book is actually some tricks that kids can do, and talking about safety and the ministry and all those, and some of the magicians from the years ago, and different things they can learn, there.
Wow.
Money magic, coins and cards, and but anyway.
Now with the ventriloquist right here, the secret of, and that tells people kind of how you can condition yourself.
Basic instructions to how to be a ventriloquist, how to hold the lips, how to push the air, do the exercises, the substitution letters you would use for the alphabet letters that are difficult to say. Like if you're going to say the boy played baseball, you actually say the boy played baseball. And then when you put a voice to it, the boy played baseball. And it comes out and sounds just like it. Then we have our own magic kit, basic kit for kids, but we have an advanced kit for older people too.
Now, did you, you said you got a magic box just like it when you was growing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you use that kind of mentality to say, what are you going to put in this that's going to make it fun?
Yeah, just put simple things in there that mostly it's like everyday objects and put together. I tell young people if they want to be a magician, get them a briefcase, put some stuff in it that you like, and try to do a show from just the briefcase. Now, I've got way too much stuff. It's been 55 years, but I've got a shop at my house, behind the house, the magic shop, Holt Magic and Puppetry Arts, where I build the magic, build the puppets, but it's gobs of magic. And people have given me magic, illusions and things, and brought them to me. Magicians that have passed away. I've got a cabinet that has a dragon painted on the side. Must have came from some famous magician. Someone just showed up and said, here, repair it, repaint it, you can have it.
Oh, wow.
So the shop is like
over 50 years, I imagine you've accumulated quite a bit.
Yeah, it's like a museum.
So that's what you need to put a museum out there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you still go back to some of your old props and things and
all the time? And I just smile because those were the simple days. Yeah. And now a lot of entertainers are going back to those simple things. And like I say, a briefcase.
Right.
And we travel with a briefcase or a suitcase. And, there's an example. McKee, friend of mine in Vegas, his whole show's out of a suitcase. And he's playing Harrah's Casino.
Wow.
Every night of the week.
Now, people say, well, he must not have to practice much. But how long do you practice?
When I learn something new, I have to practice, the card fan productions I did on stage for so many years, producing cards from thin air and stuff like that, that took 4 years to learn.
Wow.
And it's, it's palming cards and different things, stuff like that.
That's just amazing. And so you got to be patient, right?
You do. Yep. Same thing with ventriloquism and puppets. And I'm going back to doing more puppets now because I'm going to the conventions and things, and folks have recognized that I build characters. And
Yeah, I've seen a couple that you had on your website, and I know you was talking about going through these conventions and telling about some of those puppets that very costly.
they are. This is Pop. Now, I didn't build Pop. He's latex, but he's, how you doing, Pop?
I'm doing pretty good. How y'all doing? Good to see you. Doing all right tonight? You doing pretty good? Good to see y'all.
Well, Pop, I'm glad you got to come on our show. You're looking younger than usual.
Well, it's all right. I'm 95 years old. Yep.
95. That's amazing.
Pop, tell them what you like to do. Tell them what you like to do.
Well, I take care of chickens. I love the chicken farm. Got 200 chickens.
200 chickens.
Wow, 200 chickens. What do you do with all those chickens?
Well, me and the wife, Nurdle, we take care of them. We get the eggs every week. Every week we go out and check on the eggs.
Wow, you must get a lot of eggs out of there.
We do, yeah. Nurdle, she's pretty good. Nurdle Deets, do you know her?
I do know her, yes.
That's my wife.
Wow. And now let me ask you this. Now, my wife loves fresh farm eggs because she makes pound cakes out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, does Myrtle do that? Make pound
She
cakes?
sure does. She's a good cook. She really is.
Yeah. Well, now, how long have you known Steve?
Well, we done together about 10 years. He was,
Somebody gave him to me.
Sure did. They said, I got 2 of them puppets. You can have one of them.
Well, my goodness.
Yeah. Well, Pop, he sings in the show.
You sing?
Yeah, I like country music.
Well, who's one of your country favorite stars?
John Denver.
Oh, Rocky Mountain High, yes.
Sing him a song by John Denver.
It's a country song.
Go ahead.
Well, life on the farm's kind of laid back. Ain't nothing old country done it like Nick ain't had. Early to rise, early in the sack. Thank goodness I'm a country done it.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Great. They got a good sounding voice.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and to me, it's hard for me to remember songs.
Yes, sure. That's why I only sang one verse of it.
Well, see, you're being 95 years old like that. That's amazing. You might have to go on America's Got Talent.
We did it. We already did it.
Really?
We did the commercial when they first started.
Yeah, when they first started, they called us to come to Atlanta, Georgia.
Uh-huh.
And we said, well, we don't want to compete and win the $1 million.
Right. Just for you, wouldn't it?
Because you not do it.
Yeah, we didn't want to win because we didn't want to do all that traveling and with it, And they said, well, would you do the commercial? So they said, we like ventriloquism especially, but you can do some magic. So I did 2 minutes. And they ran the commercial for about 2 or 3 years for America's Got Talent.
Wow, my goodness.
Every once in a while you might see it.
Yeah, well I tell you what, it's out there somewhere. I'll Google it, and I'm going to pull it off, and I got to put it on the show or put it on my site like that. And now, what did you say? You was in the commercial, right?
Yes, sir. They told us what to say.
They did?
Yeah, they'd ask us questions, and they said, you say this, and we'll say this, and back and forth.
Back and forth. Yeah, we had to do what they said,
Right. Well,
how long you been doing it, when you get started, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And just give America's Got Talent a good plug.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to see America's Got Talent every Monday night around 7 o'clock. See the world's greatest talent on AGT.
all right. Good job. Now, for those 2 minutes commercials, and I've shot some commercials just for independent, and a 30-second, 1 minute commercial has took me hours to do. So did you hit it right off the bat?
We pretty much did.
Oh, wow. That's great.
That's good. Didn't take much, did it?
No, we did all right.
Well, this is amazing. See, folks, you can actually purchase this book right here, and it's going to show you how you, with lots of practice now, you will be able to ventriloquist. And, you know, you'll be able to, I'm trying to figure which one is really the dummy part there. Is it?
Well, Steve's a smart dunny. He's a big dunny, and I'm the little dunny.
Now, have you go to church and perform any?
Yeah, we do. We like going to church a lot. Quite a bit. I sing in the choir.
All right. Well, I figured you probably did from that voice you had.
Mm-hmm. He
And-
sings in the choir, but we do go to a lot of churches. They invite us to do like a morning 10 minutes in the morning service, and then we'll come back that night and do a large service.
And tell people how they can get a hold of you again.
Okay.
That where they can book you to come out.
Yeah, the phone number is 864-706-1428, and email address is steveholtshow@aol.com.
Well, after this, if we get through here, I'll go ahead and I'll put those links on there where they can come right to it. And it's kind of funny because I keep looking at him like, what now?
Yeah, of course, you go to the
It's so real.
Facebook page, Messenger, Steve Holt Magic, or there's a fan page, Steve Holt Magic Show,
Yeah.
Facebook, and then there's steveholtmagicshow.com, and then stevesstory.com.
So actually, if they go to your Facebook page, you got those links in there, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that way they can go to all of them. Just keep going, clicking on them, and
Yeah, they just
and
right
go,
at the top of the page.
go right to it like that. Now, if someone say send you an instant message and saying, and you pick those up pretty good, right?
I do.
Yeah, I think you answer mine pretty quickly.
I have to stay on top of it. If you run a business and a ministry, you got to.
Exactly, and that kind of fits in, of course, with your story too, because you're able to share your story, what God's done for you, and how it turns your life around. That you yourself are examples.
Yeah, what we're doing right now, the biggest thing with Steve's story is I'm doing less of a show, but sharing my testimony. But for example, if anyone wants to do a fundraiser, they would have a dinner, of course. Say if you want to, I'm big on the foster parent program,
Right.
foster children program, because I was a foster child. Orphanages, if they want to donate to an orphanage or a foster care system or DSS or any of those groups that support those organizations. So they would have like a fundraising dinner, and then I would come and speak and share my story, do a little bit of my show, do a little bit of ventriloquism, do a little bit of magic, not overwhelmingly large show,
Right.
but then we're working on a video that we can put up about, how I started, and it kind of lets people know, what children can become.
Right.
And then they hear the story and they give accordingly at these dinners,
Well, I know Union here is, we have a lot of folks, and people know that Union County is kind of more of a poor county, and they have a lot of different events here, fundraisers for children, from the back to school. I mean, it's really just people overwhelmed to help that.
Yep.
And when they hear some children in need or something, they just immediately just go, say, okay, we need to do this, and they start putting stuff together.
Yeah, and I tithe, of course, to the church I go to, but also when we do a fundraising dinner and they pay me to speak, I give back to specifically the orphanage I grew up in.
Oh, wow.
10% to them, the Open Door Children's Home in Rome, Georgia.
Oh, okay. And you've got that on your site too, right?
No, I don't have it on my site, but people read it, and they'll read my story, and it mentions the Open Door Children's Home, in Rome, Georgia. So,
Okay.
um,
Do they have a website?
they do. They have a Facebook page too.
Okay, so maybe we can get that link in there also for anyone that's interested in that
And
also.
I go back there every year, do a show for the kids. And most of the time, the little kids like the show, but you've got the teenagers at the orphanage, Open Door Children's Home, that ask me questions, and I'm able to sow seed into them about, what happens to me after I leave the orphanage? What do I do? What kind of work do I do? Where do I go to school? What I do about getting married?
We have a lot of questions like
Yeah.
that, and that's we ourselves has never been in that situation. We take stuff like that for granted,
Right.
and we just think that just naturally come. Everybody should know this, but you're right. They don't know. I was a volunteer coordinator for Sipes Orchard Home in outside of Hickory, North Carolina, and we had a lot of folks there, and they tried to do a lot of different things with them, teaching them even from the schools to what's going to happen afterward, teach them how to do bills, how to write checks, how to get a job, fill application stuff out, and I brought in these big balloons that not that you hold, but you fly up in, tethered.
Yeah.
So they got to go up in it to experience the flight and that and stuff, and that was some of the fun things I got to do with them as being
That's good.
the volunteer coordinator.
I remember they would come out to our orphanage in Georgia, and the Shriners would do things like that with us, and we'd go to parades, and a lot of times I'd get to carry a puppet in the parade, and we'd sit there and wave at people in the parade, and
Yeah.
that's the children from the Open Door Children's Home, and at Christmas time, we'd sit with Santa on his ride and stuff.
Do you go into the parades now around here?
Haven't in a long time, but I do.
Yeah.
I mean,
For our county, we got several from Carlisle to Union to Buffalo. We got several little towns around here in Union County that has parades.
Yep.
And wife and I, we sit and go out and live stream those parades and tell about the parades and get close-ups of it and stuff like that. And we really enjoyed doing that, just sitting out there seeing the different folks and things.
being with the people.
That's it, and we feel like we're like like Kathy Lee from years ago, and all stand out there, sitting there, moderating New York parade or something. Well, this is our New York parade.
A lot of times when I was on the road and I wasn't doing a show, I was in between booking a show or just had an afternoon to relax. I would go some of the parks like in Idaho somewhere and just watch a ball game. Same kind of thing you were talking about.
Right.
Just be with the people,
Yeah,
be a normal person.
yeah. But that'd still be cool what you're doing though, sitting in the park, where people come by like that, and you got your pop here with you, and somebody walk by and you just talk like that.
How you doing? You doing all right today? You doing pretty good? Well, how's a ball game? A pretty good game, isn't it? Yes, sure is.
Yeah, so that would blow my mind.
Yeah.
I couldn't even focus on ball game.
Well, there's my grandson out there playing ball right there. Look, watch him. He gonna run. There he goes.
Do you like ball games?
I sure do. I like the Braves.
Yeah,
Braves.
the Atlanta Braves. That's, of course, we're from Georgia. So
Right.
the Braves. We got to sit with Hank Aaron one time.
Oh, wow.
He came up. He actually signed a baseball for me when I was 12 years old. I don't have it anymore.
Oh, man.
Wish I still had it.
Oh, yes. Yes. But, and now what's your favorite college game? College?
Oh, baseball or football?
Well, let's say football.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I don't know football too well.
What about baseball then?
Don't know it either. Just the Braves.
Just the Braves?
Just the Braves.
Well, if you're like me, I didn't have time for sports when I was growing up either. I was too busy doing all these other things too. And I imagine that you have been busy for a long time, right?
I sure have.
Well, speaking of sports, though, we live right there at Wofford College.
Oh, okay.
So I guess we would be prone to that college team.
The college team there. Yeah. Right. Well, I got two grandchildren that's going, not children anymore, adults now, just about, and going to PC college. And I graduated from the University of South Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
So I got partial there. But I was in Clemson today, yo.
Really?
Yeah, I had to make sure I didn't have a tag on there that says Carolina.
Yes. Yeah.
But you know, sports is great, but this to me, this is just so great. Uh, Watching you even perform this magic and ventriloquist. I mean, I'm sitting here and it's almost really like I'm talking to him as an individual, as a person, just like I would be talking to you, and I catch myself doing the same thing, and that's when you know that you got it down right. Because I've seen America's Got Talent several ventriloquists. Is it Vant? One was named Vant, I think it was, or Vant,
Um,
that went on and
Terry Fader.
Terry, that's it.
Yeah, he's in Vegas now.
Yes. And there was a girl in there that did excellent.
Yeah, Darcy Lynn.
Yes, Darcy.
She's going into movies now, and you know.
Yeah. Are you going to go into movies, Pop?
Well, I think so. We did one with the Medicine Show. We in the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Yeah, we was in a Western with the Medicine Show.
My goodness. Did you wear a cowboy hat?
I did. I played a magician on a wagon coming through town doing a show. Of course, I played an elderly magician and kept falling off the wagon. But
No, well, not the drinking wagon, but the real wagon, right?
it was the drinking wagon.
Oh, was it?
But I was performing as a magician on the drinking wagon. But I don't know if that movie ever made it big. It was called The Guns of Obadiah Crawford. And we spent 2 days in Arizona filming. So, but I was in the Country Music Hall of Fame, inducted in there with the Medicine Show. So you go there and you'll see an old medicine wagon and the pictures of us. And, you know, we were on the Ralph Emery show in Nashville.
I remember Ralph Emery show. Yes.
Did all those.
Yeah. Now, I bet that somewhere or another, someone's got that posted on YouTube or somewhere or another. If you Google it, I found some crazy stuff on there that's from years ago, from where the schools used to say, have Mr. Manners there, you know, the old film, to talk about Mr. Manners doing this, and that's teaching kids by video manners.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of think we need that back.
We do today. Yes, we do. You know, we need a lot of things. You know, you was talking about children learning how to, you know, be able to buy their clothes and school supplies and actually go physically do it and pick them out and think it through in the process and how much to spend and what not to spend, and, you know, and being nice to people and being kind and respectful. When I do a school show, it's called a school assembly. My shows are all about, you know, being kind to others, being nice, you know.
Right.
Stuff like
And that's what these did they call them propaganda films? It was years and years ago. They're black and white, and they had this one little boy called Mr. Bungalow, and I said nobody don't want to be Mr. Bungalow like that, you know. And my grandson, when he was little, well, I showed him. He laughed. He thought that was the funniest thing. And so for one Christmas, as he gotten older, I made him a DVD of that same thing. But and I tell him even nowadays, I said, "You don't be Mr. Bungalow." He said, "No, I know who that is." But it taught kids back then, you know. Now, the school, when you went to school, did you have to did you go through the whole 12th grade, or I know sometimes you had to work on the farm, right?
Yeah, we did. We had to kind of skip school sometimes.
Oh.
Help Mama on the home farm.
Well, they let you skip school back then, didn't they? To go
Sure did. You had to,
during harvest time.
you had to take care of the mule.
The mule.
Yes, sir.
What was the name of the mule?
George.
George. Now, what did you have to do to take care of him?
Make sure he pulled the plow.
Oh. Now, was there any words that you said to him to make him turn right or left? The reason I'm asking this is that I had an uncle years ago that had 2 mules, and I'd hear him out in that field going, "Yee, yah," and that means right and left.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and then he'd holler at a lot. I don't know if that mule was that stubborn or what.
Giddy up.
Was your mule stubborn?
Pretty much they all are.
Yes.
that. Yeah, they are, aren't they, Pop?
Mm-hmm.
Well, chickens not, are they?
No, chickens kind of got their own way of doing things.
Yeah. Now, when you get all these eggs up together like that, how long does it take you to gather them eggs?
All day.
All day. Well, I guess that was 200 chickens.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you go in with the hands, or do they put them down, drop them down this little lever and they go down?
We wear gloves.
Gloves? Well,
You and Myrtle wear gloves.
Yeah, we handle them ourselves.
ah.
Hand picked eggs.
Do you wash the eggs? Do you wash them?
I think we do. Yeah, we got to clean them after they cool off.
Oh, they got to cool off.
They kind of worn when you grab them first.
Wow, good thing. I imagine so.
They fresh.
Yeah, because I had someone tell me like that they stay longer if you didn't wash them and leave them set. You can set them out and leave them outside, leave them on the.
I think so.
Yeah, there's all kind of things. So we're learning all kind of things here on our show. We learn about how to take care of chickens and gather eggs and a little bit of history, a little bit of everything.
That's right.
Now, I know you stay busy being booked, and
I do.
and you still travel quite a bit. And you said you're semi-retired. I really don't know what that means, because when I say semi-retired, I think I work as much.
We do. I don't have any grandchildren. You probably do, but I mean, I stay just as busy doing birthday parties. So that's my kids.
I start to say you got grandchildren, just don't know it.
Got a lot of kids. So birthday parties, keep me very, very busy. And then of course my wife, she's an illustrator, did all the books, but she'll face paint sometime at some of the birthday parties, and
Oh, okay.
she's involved in ministry too. And a lot of times she can't go with me because she's teaching somewhere.
Well, I didn't even ask about your wife. Now you said she is a illustrator,
Right. She does graphics for all the books and business cards and things like that.
so she kind of designed these.
This is a big project. It's I don't know how many pages that is, but it's and she has probably around 350, 400 books she's published in the last 3 or 4 years
My
for
goodness.
different people.
Right. Yeah, and I used
Through Amazon.
right, and I'm a graphics artist,
Are you?
and I used to work for a company that all their advertisements.
Mhm.
I did a lot of their advertisements for them.
That's good.
That they printed out in media, but I always did something secretly when I did theirs. I hid either my initials or my name. Somewhere in it was my name and initials.
Yeah, I kind of wish I got into graphics. I mean, I play with it on the computer, but I'm not anywhere near what she is or what you might be.
Well,
I like to hand do stuff and then put the picture in the computer and then try to edit it if I can.
right. Well, you actually do the painting over, and say, I can't do it. I can't draw a stick hardly.
Portraits and things like that.
Yeah, there's no way I can do that. Now, on the computer, I can manipulate it and do things just like I can do video. I can change our video to black and white.
That's a great talent.
Put a color, for instance, I just want your red shirt on that, red on your shirt, and the rest of it black and white. I can do that stuff, and I can add people to it. That's why I know that a lot of stuff you can't see when you see on YouTube and TikToks and all this stuff here, that you really got to look at, because it might not be true,
Mm-hmm.
because I know that you can manipulate it.
Yes.
Now, years ago, you couldn't do that. You had film.
Mm-hmm.
The 3/4 inch film, the big old thing of film.
Beta and all that.
Yes, yes. And when you went out to video, you had like batteries around you and carried a lot of stuff.
And my wife and I met on television. She produced 79 children's ministry television shows. It's called Behind the Waterfall.
My
And
goodness.
It's on YouTube, Behind the Waterfall TV show.
Behind the Waterfall. I'll have
TV
to look
show.
that up.
Behind the Waterfall TV show on YouTube.
Okay.
And it's basically a young lady hiking through the mountains and comes up on this waterfall, which is in Henderson, North Carolina,
Okay, I know what Henderson.
actually. And she meets all these birds and animals and puppets and popping out of bushes and mountains and rocks, and they do Bible stories. And
Oh, wow.
she had several puppeteers that worked with her. So she hired me to be on that show.
Uh-huh.
And, I did a magic show for the kids, and kind of really not out in the woods, but with a bunch of rocks behind us, and kids watched the show, and I taught the Bible and Scripture using the illusions and gospel illustrations.
Wow.
Made her disappear in a square time machine looking cabinet, and then, you know, it's where do we go when we die? You know, we talked about going to heaven, boys and girls. We're going to heaven, you know, so accept Jesus into your heart. You know, make sure you're ready, because when you leave this earth, open the door and she was gone. So
Wow.
where'd Miss Vicky go? She's in heaven with Jesus.
My goodness. Now, how long you been married?
22 years.
22 years. And that's amazing that as creative as she is and creative as you are, that, I mean, you're the perfect match. And never had an argument in 22 years, right?
We have, but we worked through it.
That's it. And how long you been married, Pop?
Oh, we've been married about 60 years.
60 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you never had an argument either?
We do, yeah, we do.
I think we all do, and we all get on each other's nerves. But
we're not perfect.
We're not perfect. That's right. But we love each other at the end of it.
Amen.
And I was telling my wife the other day, was talking about hearing these words, honey, we got to talk.
Yeah.
And she knows, and brother-in-law and all them knows too. We played some kind of game, and I said something about that was the worst. I hate to hear.
Yeah.
Because most of the time it's me done something wrong.
Right.
So, but I tell you, Pop, it's been great meeting you.
Well, thank you, sir. I enjoyed this time together with you.
I have too, and this is going on like 8 channels right now live.
Really?
And it's got another 5 or 6 will be audio going across there. But as famous as y'all are, and with everything y'all do, it is a blessing. And I'm definitely going to be giving you a call on a couple.
Well, we want to be a blessing to other people. That's why we do what we do.
Yeah, and you do it so well. You do it great. And everybody hear the clock's going off, right? Now, you got anything you want to add, or anything you want to just say? Or
Well, as far as, you know, you saw me in Union here
Yes.
a few nights ago. Actually, probably going to be looking for a place to do stage rather than nightclub type setting,
Right.
you know, where people can actually come and purchase tickets to come.
Oh,
So
that would be great.
we're going to kind of phase that out, you know, probably,
Right.
because the attendance could be a little bit better. But so I appreciate the folks that do come out to Wings Sports Pub and see us there when they do. It used to be every Thursday. Now it's moved to the second Thursday of the month.
Second Thursday of the month.
So not sure how long we'll be there, but that's where we are right now in Union, South Carolina.
Well, you do a good show there, and I think that once people come out and see it, they're going to be just blown away about your magic and the ventriloquists. They really are, because you're so talented.
Thank
you. And don't want anyone to sell you short, because you've got it there, and they come by and buy some merchandise and learn some of this stuff themselves.
Yeah, well, that's actually how we make our living. We have a merchandise table there, so
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
And all, and like I said, people don't know that you yourself, that on these puppets, that you paint them, you sew. Now, does your wife help you sew some of these things?
She does, but a lot of times the clothes come from Goodwill or thrift stores.
Oh, okay.
We'll wash them, clean them up, you know, $3, $4, $5, get a whole outfit and some shoes. And, you know, I'm building between 5 and 10 puppets right now that I'll take some to the convention. 2 already sold.
My goodness.
So
That's right, because you was talking about the convention that you sold a couple there, and I think you probably ended up having a whole big factory there, because in that convention you got a lot of ventriloquists that looking for something unique.
yeah, the Vent Haven Museum is the ventriloquist museum that's in Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
Erlanger, Kentucky, actually. And you can go there and see all sorts of ventriloquist dummies, puppets that were used by famous ventriloquists. And they're sitting there, and people adopt them.
My goodness.
And they adopt them so that they can help take care of the museum,
Right.
you know, renovate it. It recently was renovated. So, but we have a 3 or 4 day convention there at the Holiday Inn, Airport, Cincinnati Airport, Holiday Inn.
That's what man. I'd like to be there.
Yeah,
That would
it's a
be
lot of fun.
that would be a neat place to stay during that convention.
You know, workshops where you can go learn script writing and figure building, and then they have, you know, they call them shops or stores. You can go in and purchase puppets, and a lot of the vendors. I'll be a vendor next year and have my characters with me. So.
Now, now when you sell your puppets like that, when you make them for somebody, do you have papers of adoption, or do you have papers of?
I type up some stuff and some pictures, you know, and laminate it for them to have, you know, sort of a, you know, I guess we could do a birth certificate.
Yeah,
You know, when it was built. You know,
that would be neat.
yeah, that kind of stuff.
And that way that they can say, well, this is when I was born.
Yeah, and you know, make a DVD to go with it. They can play, or a YouTube video about their puppet, and they can go see.
Yeah, that would be fantastic like that. Well, Steve, I really appreciate you coming.
Yes, sir.
Pop, I appreciate you coming.
We enjoyed it.
Well, I know everybody else has too.
Sure
This
did.
is
That's
so
fun.
so unique, and we pray that God will bless you, continue to bless you and your
Thank you.
wife and family,
Thank you. for
and
that.
Pop too, to just keep doing his work, and I think you'll be overly blessed.
Thank you.
I'm going to switch back over here and do a couple little buttons here. All right, this is Jerry McKee, and you've been listening to Prime Time, and here was Steve Holt. I tell you what, the famous musician and ventriloquist. Be looking for his links, and you'll be able to contact him, and hey, let him be at your next event. And let's everybody say hi, and say bye to Pop too, okay?